Can you hear me? Okay, Can you hear me? Can you hear me now? Okay, Can you hear me? Can you hear me now? Okay, Can you hear me now? Yes. Okay. Great. Okay, sorry. So I'll start all over because this is really important. So today is 1,211 days since Richard went missing and murdered, Code Red murdered, retaliated against as a whistleblower to CPS, to law enforcement agencies, a CID intern, very connected with the CID, law enforcement um, agencies there with Thomas Kane, with Marlon Soto, with Tavita Nusa, with Leilani Hart. He knew them all. And, of course, with Park University, with Ann Ogle, taking classes there for law enforcement. And, today, just a super busy day because we received information from the IRS that they were investigating El Paso matters. That is a direct result from our campaign from April of 2023. So remember that um, in January 26, 2023, a story came out against our key witness that would allow Richard's case to come out of cold case, to be reinvestigated, to also get information, additional information, because of the complaints. And what the media did, what El Paso Matters did with Bob Moore. Bob Moore owns El Paso Matters, okay, is to use an unreliable source, which is Leilani Hart. So we've had to learn all of this. I didn't know all of this, right? This has been an education. Um, but they use an unreliable source. What makes her unreliable? Well, her criminal history, her continuous, decades long, y'all, decades long. This has been so shocking. Decades long of lying. Make sure I'm communicating with everybody. It gets so late at night. Yes, great. Okay. So decades long, and it's lies, 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 harassment, 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 causing chaos, and then false witness testimony to law enforcement agencies. And so why didn't the media try to challenge her character before intimidating or interfering in our case by the intimidation of a witness or smearing of a witness or false allegations against a witness and really obstructing justice? The ramifications for that is huge. The damage that it has done is so huge. And it's not just to Richard's case. It's because the JAG operated outside of the law when it came to this report. Okay? They also did not challenge the narrative. They also did not do an investigation into Leilani Hart. We have had to do an investigation into Leilani Hart to be able to move forward in our son's case. But the JAG on Fort Bliss, the general, did not even ask for an investigation into this claim before they retaliated against a witness, before they obstructed justice. And of course, they're trying to protect Major General Clem Coward. They're trying to protect General McConville. and General Garrett and Lieutenant General Donna Martin and Lieutenant General Sean Bernabe and of course Major General James Eisenhower. He at least at that time had a chance. Now he has intentionally obstructed justice and intentionally went along with um, the harassment of a witness, the false testimony of a witness. Because let me tell you, it, there is just no truth to what they did in the media, what they said in the media. And but what it did do is interfere in our son's case. So immediately that story went out on January 26th. I had a video conference on January 31st with Angela Kachurga to plead with her, to beg her, to inform her, to let her know that this story was interfering, that it really hurt a, a glimmer of hope, a little light that came, a huge light that came that would move our son's case forward to open up the truth in what happened to him. And, she didn't care, y'all. I want to say it politically correct, but she just didn't give a damn. She didn't. And, I don't know how else to say it because she was more concerned with us moving forward, having that opportunity. She did not want that. Okay? She did not want us to have help. That was very, very clear. And so I was shocked. I was so shocked during that phone call um, because this was intentional malice. Okay? The intentional uh, want to hurt our son's case and to hurt us. And by doing that, they hurt the JAG because the JAG went along with it, right? Because the media didn't have oversight, the JAG went along with it too, and so did the command. And this has damaged our military so much. It has damaged Fort Bliss, so much so that you had a soldier that saw everything around him and had to inquire for a congressional inquiry, to request a congressional inquiry um, because of what was going on, the lawlessness on Fort Bliss. Which means if they're going to be lawless and JAG, then that's why you had the 14-year-old girl living in the barracks being pimped out, right? This lawlessness on Fort Bliss is why we have the barracks being marketplaces for illegal drugs. That's why we have soldiers like Asia Graham being raped in the barracks and then being retaliated against for wanting to report that and wanting to get justice for herself. um and the retaliation uh destroying her really. So what Angela Kachurga did, what Bob Moore did with El Paso Matters, with KTEP, and KTEP is part of UTEP, y'all. And, you might be, my dad went to UTEP. Uh, you might just love that university, but they're doing wrong here. They're flat out wrong. Okay? And it is so heartbreaking that our media and that even a university like UTEP would allow something like this to happen, to not challenge an unreliable source that comes from a family of, in her own words, dangerous pedophiles buying illegal weapons, threatening, rapists, incestuous, stealing people's identity, messing with insurance, wanting to do false insurance claims, and it goes on and on. It goes on and on. Okay, so this is a lawless family, and Angela Kacherga, uh, you know, we, she didn't care on January 31st, and so we had to work hard and to try to prove to them, in order to move our son's case forward. We're still working on it. uh, they make things so difficult for us. They made things so difficult. We had to spend our time then. And maybe God wanted this because we learned so much through investigating Leilani that, you know, to give them the all of her criminal history case numbers, right? There's still a lot going on in Colorado too. So we got the Hawaii, we got, and we're getting the whole Colorado thing is another story. It's really disgusting, what went on there. But, so we got even Fort Bliss. We even have El Paso now. Her criminal record, she has not stopped. And we received information that any moment now, any day now, she could be arrested. And I'm praying that she is arrested. But what we did is we put together reports, and in March we sent that to Senator Ted Cruz and also, others. Oh gosh, a whole long list my husband did, and also to, um, Angela Kacherga. And then again in March, a second one because we found more information and asking to at least, if you can't retract the story, at least cover Richard's case and correct, who Leilani Hart is, right? At least put out the rest of the story. And, they refused. They refused to do that. So they want to control the narrative, and they want to intentionally, keep people from understanding what's going on in this case. And that is intentional malice and obstruction of justice. And so in April, then, we put forth, a campaign asking Team Farm Richard Halliday to please write, the FCC. And I have this up here. Um, right? It was to see if I can get this. It's kind of crazy here. This is a nonprofit, right? To write at eoclass at irs.gov. And I posted it, just a few hours ago again. And the tax exempt number for, El Paso Matters, the 83-4301968. And also the letter, I'm writing this complaint against El Paso Matters for a violation against their tax exempt status. They have intentionally participated in politics by choosing not to publish a major story in El Paso. Despite a request, uh, they cover the story of the disappearance and murder of Fort Bliss soldier Richard Halliday, who has been missing for over 1,000 days. Now it's 1,211. The mother of the missing soldier spoke to the member of El Paso Matters, and that reporter disrespected her and expressed the story was not, in line with their interests. Um, and also they showed politics. So I need to rewrite this here, but they published the story that was filled with lies, a false witness, and politically legitimized, um, one of the prime suspects, Leilani Hart. So now I can say all of this really. Um, I don't have to be so careful. I can say all of this right now because they turn this into a political attack. Absolutely. And they use Leilani Hart, an unreliable source. And I'm going to rewrite this, but I want to say this was good enough for the IRS to take notice. And now we have that they are looking into El Paso matters, which is really good because, they just can't, if they're tax free, if they have tax free status, they cannot engage in the politics, right? They cannot engage in the politics. They need to do their job right as investigative journalists, and they need to give us the straight stories. And so that was really, really good news today that we got that. And I'll rewrite that because we have so much on Leilani Hart now that I am not, I'm at liberty. I'm at liberty to absolutely use her name now and say the truth. So we did the investigative journalism that Angela Kachurga should have done, that El Paso Matters should have done. And it did take time because we don't have the staff and we don't have the resources that El Paso Matter has and Kachurga. I'm sure it would have been much easier for them, but we're even getting word that they know her, and that even she makes herself known. Leilani Hart makes herself known to these uh, agencies, and you know. Uh, we just got word she was going to Veronica Escobar. Where is Veronica Escobar in all of this? Why is Veronica Escobar going to listen to Leilani Hart, an unreliable convicted criminal that that likes to interfere in this case? I guess it's because her son was Richard's platoon leader, right? Her son was Richard's platoon leader. It's just as clear as that why she would go to this extreme, this level to go. And does she have some kind of family history with Kachurga or business dealing or whatever? I don't know, because it was so easy for Kachurga. We made it so easy because we sent her all of this again in October, over and over again. We sent her all of this. So it's not like we didn't give them a chance to correct the story. We gave them numerous chances to correct the story and to even cover Richard again, right? Because this is big news. This absolutely is reason enough to take Richard out of the cold case unit, especially when there's internal affairs complaints made against dirty agent Marlon Soto, right? And, because he didn't even report to internal affairs that Tavita Nusa was also a dirty agent and tampering with Richard's case, and even reporting on committing bodily harm, was involved in Richard's case. So, yeah, so this is big, big news. And, I just hope that the IRS um, will give us justice when it comes to that case. Yeah. The other thing is Team Find Richard Halliday sent me this case, and I didn't know about this case. This is an older case. I think it's from 2001, and I don't want to open it up here, but it's about a man that is, I think he's going to be executed tomorrow for uh, kidnapping a 5-year-old girl from a Walmart. I mean, this is a parent's worst nightmare, right? to be kidnapped from a Walmart there in El Paso, a little girl, 5 years old, and he took her and had his way with her in a very demonic way, very evil way, and ended up murdering her and disposed of her, dishonored her body, dishonored her person, right? Just like what they did to Richard. Um, they dishonored him. And she was murdered, 5 years old though. Um, and, you know, it was, um, the one thing that Team Find Richard Halliday did tell me is that this case, because Richard saw enough neglect and harm against children, that he made child protective service complaints. And we are getting that he made three child protective service complaints. And that is not including, that's over and above the complaints he made through his chain of command. Okay. Um, and through CID. Okay. Uh, but he made it to Child Protective Services because of what Leilani Hart was reporting. This pedophilia, this pedophilia. I mean, you can't even leave your your friend's child with your family because they're going to have their way with this child. Thank God that this child lived in her master bedroom. Multiple members, right? And this man that murdered the 5-year-old is going to be executed tomorrow. And El Paso is saying, Texas is saying it's about time. Because this happened years and years ago. And they just dragged their feet, right? And so, what I did hear from Team Find Richard Halliday, that, since people don't uh, remember that I grew up in Texas. I was born in New Mexico, in White Sands Missile Range, New Mexico. I went to school in El Paso. So I know people. We have a team find Richard Halliday in El Paso. Thank you, everyone. I love you, everyone. Thank you for sending me this. And they said that when this happened, the judge was very stoic, and said, I sentence you to death. That was it. I sentence you to death. And, so now tomorrow, it should happen. It should happen. And the Texans are saying it's about time. Okay, they're sick of this. They're sick of these child predators. They're sick of all the child porn. Oh, yeah, that's another thing that the Hart family, Leilani said the Hart family was making child porn, that Dallas was running over there looking for his child porn. Um, yeah, so this is, and Richard was a code red. Uh, she's given us a lot of information. And is she up to no good? She's up to no good, and she is definitely involved in this case, hands down. It's just, you know, um, she's just mentally unstable, and so she tells it all. And we will see, with uh, discernment, with legal help, what is true and what is not true. And let's get the hard evidence, let's get the irregularities, let's get the circumstantial evidence, let's weigh what she has, and let's have it out. Let's have it out in court. What happened to Richard, and who did it, and why, right? Because we've got a lot of confirmation that the Hart family is up to no good, and they cause a lot of trouble, a lot of heartbreak, a lot of harassment wherever they go. So, not just look at Danae. Danae's her good friend, Danae Katzen and Leilani Hart, and they're both convicted criminals. They both are false witnesses to law enforcement authorities. They both like to get over on people, and when people don't like what they're doing, then they resort to all kinds of excuses. Um, Leilani Hart, though, has some immigration status problems. I don't know. I don't think Danae does, but Leilani Hart does. And, both of them went to media. Both of them went to media to control the narrative, to obstruct justice, to, um, yeah, it's very strange. They don't want us to find out what happened to Richard. Neither one of them. And isn't it interesting that now we know that they're connected with 3905 Bliss Avenue and 3705 Bliss Avenue, that they're connected with those addresses. And those addresses seem to be owned by William Beaumont Army Medical Center and seem to be part of the mortuary affairs. I don't know. Uh, you know, I think Veltri needs to do her homework on that, because what are they doing handling um, remains? They're not respectful. Um, what are they doing handling remains? And, we have a lot of other questions that is coming out in our research about those areas, because they absolutely are connected to Felix Valenzuela, the defense attorney for Patrick Crucius. And, if he is the defense attorney for Leilani Hart, if he is the defense attorney for Danae Katzen, if he is the defense attorney for Jay Pollan, if he is the defense attorney for Edwin Sissonet, if he is the defense attorney for these people that are connected, Eddie Rocha, right? Eddie Rocha, maybe Eddie Rocha's brother, maybe Miguel Rocha. Um, you know, if he is, the defense attorney, and what are they doing? What are they doing that they need so much defense, right? Um, yeah, and what is going on there at these houses, including Van Buren, right? And connected to the Rocha family, of course. So the Katzen family, the Rocha family, the Garcia, the Rosa Marie Valdez Garcia, who is part of the Walmart case. So the Walmart case and Richard's case has intersected. It is a Venn diagram. It has intersected. So it doesn't seem like my video is even working. Let's see. I don't know. Sometimes I don't think it's important though, as long as you can hear me. Um, but yeah, it is connected, and that's why we put in for the open records of. Oh yeah, I don't know who this Vanessa Gerardo is, but she's like, Team Find Richard Halliday had nothing to do with this man's execution. Again, proof you know nothing. Uh, well, I guess there's a misunderstanding, because I didn't post that properly. I just said thank you, Team Find Richard Halliday, meaning, of course, because I never even assumed in my mind that we had anything to do with this man being convicted of murdering the 5-year-old years and years and years ago. I was just thanking the team for alerting me to this case, and saying this is um, a positive move for Richard's case that Texas is taking, because remember, we have all this evidence. We have circumstantial evidence, we have irregularities, and we have hard evidence. And what do we need now? We need institutional support. And this man, being taken off of death row to be executed for the vicious, vulgar sex cult crime that he committed, and to take his life away for it, is such a great thing, y'all. It is such a great thing, because what they're doing is so evil. It is so evil. Can you imagine this 5-year-old little girl? I just can't even, being ripped away from her family. Her mother looked away. Can you imagine her mother? Her mother looks away trying to shop and do things at Walmart, and this man steals the little girl. Uh, you know, so for his life to be taken is a celebration for all of us. And, you know, and I'm so happy because in our son's case, ripping him away from us, uh, and okay, he's not 5 years old, but he was 20, just turned 21. Um, and they are just to do what they did and to steal his identity, and then to manipulate and deceive and deceive and deceive some more with their vile and vulgar, very violent crimes. Very violent. Um, so we have the evidence. We need the institutional support, and this today was a very good day on institutional support. We have the institutional support, and I know you don't like the IRS so much. I don't like the IRS so much, but in this case today, I like the IRS because they are looking at El Paso Matters for their involvement in intentional malice and political attack dogism that they are not allowed to do. And we give them everything. We pay for them. And they abused us. They abused us. And, it's not enough for Richard to be another Vanessa Guillen. It's not enough for him to have gone through everything. Can you imagine if they tried to cover up the story of this 5-year-old girl, that they tried to derail us from finding out who this man was that stole her from the Walmart and raped her continuously, and who knows what else he did to her, and then when she was dead, throw her in a ditch. Can you imagine if El Paso Matters did the same thing in that case like they did to our case? They're preventing us from getting the murderers. And so today was a very good day for institutional support to get the IRS to look at El Paso Matters. To get that letter was a good thing. And I want to thank you all. You see, you are more crucial than anything, because it was your letters, your support to the IRS, using that campaign to help us to get justice for Richard. And things take a long time, and you just can never give up. You can never give up when it comes to 5-year-old little girls to 20-year-old young, beautiful soldiers. You can never give up. And this was a good day. It was a good day. And tomorrow will be a great day. I might pop some champagne tomorrow after his life is taken away. And I think that will send a clear message to those that have retaliated against Richard, and participated in the cover up of this vile and vulgar murder and the dishonoring of his remains, and I want my son's remains, you know? So, yeah, this, I hope this is a good message for them. I also posted up today, I've got so much to cover, um, a movie that I watched years ago when it came out. It's called The Promise, and it was about the Armenian genocide. And what really got me in this movie is the Turkish general admitting that the reason why they were killing the Armenians, not because they were Christian, okay, because they were Christian, okay, they weren't Muslim, they were Christian. And the reason why the Turkish general was killing them was because, and kill the whole family. Do not leave not one, okay? So it became a genocide, is because of the laws of uh, of the Ottoman Empire, of the Turks, um, to say if there is no inheritor, nobody in the family to inherit the monies, the um, insurance money, the claim, or whatever the inheritance was, right? Then it would go to the state. It would go to fill their coffers to run their army and, get the contracts to run their army. And they wanted that money, okay? They wanted that money and they took it from the Armenians. And that's what powered the genocide. And I was just floored by that because of what my Oma had told me about World War II in Germany. That, it wasn't really geared on a hatred for religious purposes or anything like that. Um, it was about the money. It was about the money. And, I've just always, about the money to run a war machine. And I'm like, okay, so Fort Bliss, we know it's corrupt. Um, what are they doing? What else are they doing besides the narcotics trafficking, the human trafficking, the porn? Now possibly this human parts trafficking. It just gets more horrible and horrible. But are they messing with the insurance and the claims? And we know with the VA, they are messing with the benefits, right? Coaching people how to get the benefits and that. So there's just this level of corruption that, some of us, and I think all of us, we have looked the other way. Oh, okay, whatever, everyone, we pay too much taxes, we have too many regulations, it makes our lives difficult. The COVID destroyed all the little businesses, so we're going to look the other way. And I want to bring in COVID on this too, because I really, we were talking about this. You know, 2020 did destroy um, a lot of a lot of small businesses, made things kind of desperate. But I think even the politics of 2020, uh, I don't know. I think a lot of the border issues, the way they were smuggling weapons into the border, maybe that dried up for a little bit and they had to find another way. And I think this whole thing with 2905 Bliss Avenue, just be prepared. 2705 Bliss Avenue, just be prepared for the level of crime coming out of that street. Um, and it's really hard for me to wrap my head around. So we're getting the hard evidence and everything. But I can tell you this: these same people are the same people involved in our son's case, and these are the same people involved or connected to the Walmart case. And so for the Walmart case to be reinvestigated is another very good thing. So I'm just I was floored by this movie. I learned a lot from that movie. I know it's just a movie. It's just a movie, but a lot of times it's right in front of our face. They put it, so I think uh, it's really important to mention because I feel like it has relevance in our son's case, especially with all the stolen identities and social security numbers and manipulation of paperwork and that um, and this defense lawyer being crucial in just doing that, right? Felix Valenzuela needs to be investigated. What was he doing through 3705 Bliss Avenue? What was he doing through 3905 Bliss Avenue? Um, and how did that play a part in our son's case? Uh, you know, and in the cover up of our son's case, and the cover up of the hearings, the gag orders, the sealing of not allowing the media to cover it, and on and on. This has a lot of legal help to get this done. And that's why we have the open records uh, request for the monies for the counting of all the different money for the Patrick Crucius case, which is the Walmart case, and also for our son's case, Richard Halliday, which have intersected now. Um, it's like a one big Venn diagram, and we want to know what's in that middle circle that is connected, right, of the Venn diagram. Okay, so the other thing that I posted up was Nadal Baim's testimony challenging the walkaway narrative. I don't want anyone to forget that, and I need to post up the um, also the soldier of Fort Bliss, his petition. Matter of fact, I'm going to do it right now because I think that's so important. But I don't want anyone to forget um, Nadal Baim and the testimony of the Dollar General cashier. I think it is going to be very, very important in the near future. And so I have not posted it for a while. There it is. Okay, here it is. The congressional. Okay, posting it. Um, and I think it's really important to share. So if you would like to share, if you'd like to share the video of the cashier, if you'd like to discuss it with people, I think it's very important. Now, there's other testimonies that prove that Richard didn't just walk away. And that's really important information to put out because the media, they've been hushed up. They've been hushed up. I think that there's a court order where they cannot cover the story. I don't know. What do you think? Because I I think there was some uh, smaller media, and uh, I think there is a court order that is a gag order and also um, a seal on this story. I really do. And, Penny Hamilton, Penny Hamilton, she could absolutely tell us. And then, of course, Colonel Judge Robert Lee Shook, and maybe some others, because it is really something what's happening in this case. If there's human trafficking, human parts trafficking, and children trafficking, and and an insurance scheme and all over the border. And, you know, I don't understand um, what investigative journalists wouldn't want to cover this, right? I think it's really, here we have Danae Katzen, a 10 most wanted fugitive, um, and Leilani Hart, a convicted criminal. It's just, there has to be some kind of gag order here. So I'll take your questions now. It's not right. That was very, very sad. David Arentera will get lethal injection tomorrow. Yes, Rentera. Teria? Is that? Yeah. That will be a happy day. It will be a happy day. And that poor mother, I just can't even imagine. I hope she has a lot of people to hug her tomorrow. And I hope a lot of people around her to say, let's celebrate. Let's celebrate now, you know? And I know that that's hard to do when you think about your little precious girl. Um, but at least he will breathe no more, you know? And, the people have to realize that other people have to be respected, lives have to be respected. And yeah, it's just terrible. It's just terrible. So, yeah, that'll be a happy day. Thank you, Anicia. There is no sound. I know. Okay, I got that fixed. Mitzi, thank you. Grace, thank you. Thank you. Danielle, thank you. And so we finished our complaint on Jessica Veltri today, and we will be mailing that tomorrow. And I'll put a summary together. And yeah, that's been also taken a lot of time for research. The list is long. The list is long. I can even tell you how long the list is. And um, yeah, so there's 7 points, 7 points where Veltri has failed. And, some of it I can share with you, and some of it reveals different names that, especially of the soldier that is asking for the congressional, because he contacted us and told us some things how she was handling his request, and it's absolutely despicable. And so that will go in tomorrow. Um, and we are getting institutional help with that also, with these complaints. So that there's a lot going on. I can't even tell you uh, all the different agencies that we're having to deal with when it comes to Attorney General Paxton office, uh, District Attorney Bill Hicks' office, their peoples, the different parts of their offices, of course, judges, of course, the Department of Justice, of course, the military, of course, the politics of it all, like all the representatives. Where is Veronica Escobar in all this, huh? Where is she? Is she busy, looking in the mirror? I don't understand, where she is. It's just um, El Paso. You need to ask her what the heck is she doing, because this is huge, and she should be out there um, getting justice for Richard. Absolutely. Because getting justice for Richard would make Fort Bliss so much safer, would make El Paso so much safer, and the surrounding areas and into Mexico. And so, yeah, I just don't understand where she is. So we're working on that, and of course, gathering up all the evidence on all the people still, and with all the different departments and agencies. It is, you know, the media and also with the universities and also um, just trying to get the people's support to force them, I guess drive them. Drive them is Sean Bernabe's words. I think it's a good word. Drive them to do their duty. And that's why you are the most crucial. Without you, we would never get that IRS letter looking into El Paso matters. Without you, we would not get the investigation into Marlon Soto. Without you, we would not get um, all the support that I can't tell you. Um, I'm not at liberty to say yet. And from the from what is going on behind the scenes, because it's your letters, it's you watching, it's your shares that are the biggest tools in the box. I'm telling you, they're the biggest tools in the box. They are what move our our whole system. Sorry. They are what moves our whole system. And so we want to thank you so much for that. Um, yeah. Any questions? I think that is I think that wraps it up for tonight. There's so much to talk about, but I will be back tomorrow with uh, new news um, with Veltri, and I'll put together something that you can share about Leilani Hart and Danae Katzen. Something that you can share, something that is appropriate because it's not a coincidence, okay? That they know each other and that they are cut from the same cloth, uh, a pretty dirty cloth. It's not, and the same thing with Kachurga. Some law enforcement official called Kachurga to me, and I wanted to share that because if you speak Spanish, um, and I hope I say this right, but it's let me see if I can get it. But it was a Spanish word for dirty that goes along with Kachurga. Uh, Cochina Kachurga. Is that right? Cochina Kachurga? Yeah. Um, that that wasn't me. That was a law enforcement officer. Cochina Kachurga. So they already know it's kind of like Pee McGee. It's kind of, dirty Marlon Soto. And then for Kachurga, it's Cochina. Am I saying that right, everyone? Yeah. Means dirty. Oh, yeah. Cochina. Cochina Kachurga. Yep. So I thought, okay, I've got to share that with you today. So I'm glad I remembered. All right, everyone. With that, and I will be back. I will be back tomorrow, God willing. And, let's just pray that Leilani Hart does get arrested and that will break this hold on our case that we can move forward. Um, we'll see. We'll see. Thank you, everyone. God bless you.